Alright, this will be a basic video on how to make a fox skin. It's not going to be anything complicated. This is just going to be kind of a beginner guide on how to make skins. I'm starting with Fox. I'm going to do every single character. I'm starting with Fox because I feel like Fox and Falco are both two of the easiest skins to make since their textures. They have probably the least amount of textures, and their textures are pretty easy to tell where they go on their body. So there's a couple things you're going to need before you start. First off, you're going to need an editing software. Most people would think of Photoshop, but I actually have Photoscape because it's free, so you actually don't have to pay any money. Just get a free program like this. I recommend Photoscape if you're going to get something that's free. It has everything that I've needed so far, and I made quite a few skins. But that's on the Microsoft Store, so you can just grab that there for free. There's a pro version, but it's not worth it. And then the other thing you're going to need is that texture wizard. So first things first, open up that texture wizard. If you've never even touched skins, what you're going to want to first do is go to Open Disk, ISO GCM, click that. And then you're going to look for your Melee ISO in your folders. Mine is in here. I'll do it over training mode because all my other Fox skins are being used. I don't have any normal ones. So you're going to want to look for this Mario here. It's about halfway down. And then you're going to want to find Fox. Double click on him. And then if you double click in here, this is the neutral skin. These are all the textures that go onto Fox. The only ones you really don't need to mess with are these two. I have never messed with these since they don't actually... They're basically a flat texture in game. I'm sure someone's messed with them, but in my experience, never messed with them. But you could pretty easily see what skins go to which. The one thing I would recommend is before you do any editing on here, go on... It should be on Primal's Twitter. I will link it in the description. It is a Fox skin that turns, let me find the texture. It turns this texture, which is only the left side. It's only the left side of Fox's back jacket. It turns it into a full texture so that you don't have to have a symmetrical logo here. It can be anything. Because originally you had to put something that was symmetrical because it would just flip over. But if you, I'll actually do it right now because I need to do it. I have it. It should be in right here. Fox and Falco back. Should be this one. And then once I save it, if I go in here again, it's all the same except when you scroll down. You can see now there's a line down the middle because it's actually created this into one texture. We're not going to be really messing with putting any logos on it. I just want to let everyone know that if you are going to put a logo on the back, that is the best thing to do. It makes it a million times easier. So now that we've got that out of the way, the very first thing you're going to want to do when you start making a skin is pull the textures. So what you need to do is right click on this, or whatever skin you're doing. I'm doing it over neutral. And you're going to want to export textures from selected. It's going to pull up this little window. You're going to scroll down to where you want to put your texture at. I want to put it in Fox textures. And it should just drop it right in. Minimize this for a second. Open this up, and then here are your textures. The thing is, you're going to have to click in a couple times, and this is actually where the textures are. I'm just going to pull all of these, throw it back in there, this one, and then throw away that folder, and then here you go. All of your textures. Now, what I do is I then segment them down into smaller folders, which then I will throw back into this main folder later. Just makes everything easier. It doesn't clutter up in Photoscape. I actually need to add a gloves folder. I forgot to do that. Alright. I usually don't make it this detailed, but for newer people it's going to be easier to distinguish. So, we're going to separate them. First we're going to start with the shirt and the pants, which is the undershirt, the belt, and the pants legs. This is the undershirt. The belt. And these are the pants legs right here. So these all go in shirt and pants. Next is jacket. Jacket just has 4 pieces. This is like the collar. This is the arm piece. This is the side with the pocket on it, and this is the back. Also, this is the rolled up sleeve. Forgot about that part. Boots are pretty easy to tell as well. They're the metallic ones. Like this is a part of the boot. This is like the leg part. Let me see. There should be a couple more. Yep, here we go. That one. This is the bottom of the shoe, and this is also a part of the boot. Now, headset. This is a part of the headset. I believe it's just like the faceplate things. It's a very strange texture. It's hard to explain. You'll see it in like the little montage. This is also a part of it. And then this is like the main like actual base of the headset. Then we have the fur. You usually don't mess with the fur. Like the difference between this and falco feathers are very easy to edit. Fox fur can be kind of harder to do and make it look good. But we will be messing with it. And this is a part of the fur. This is a part of the fur. This is a part of the fur. This is technically part of the fur. And then we have eyes, which also aren't really messed with too much, but I will show how to edit the eyes. These are the gloves. This is the palm. This is the top of the hand. Very self-explanatory. And then we're left with a couple textures that are kind of more confusing, especially this one. This is the scarf. It's probably easier. I usually don't make a specific folder for it since it's just one, so I usually throw it with shirt and pants because it's right next to the shirt. And then this is actually the zipper of the jacket. A lot of skins that I've seen don't even edit it because it's so small and like a minute detail. But you can throw that in with jacket. You can edit it if you want. This is the closed eyelid. A lot of people don't mess with it either usually because they don't even mess with the fur, but you throw that in fur. And then this right here is actually the inside of Fox's jacket. It's only 1 pixel. It's 8 by 8, but you can really only make it one color, but this is how you change it. Falco actually doesn't even have this. You have to hex edit Falcos, which sucks, but Fox has this. I'll throw this in with jacket. And then these two I really mess with, so I just kind of throw them away. You can get them fairly easy. So, now that we have everything nice and organized, we can actually start on the skin. So, pull up Photoscape. Alright, we can get started. So, what do we have to start with? We are starting with shirt and pants. So, the skin I'm going to make today is going to be an Arctic fox. Very basic idea. A lot of people have done it. I've done it, but very easy. And it kind of covers all the editing basics. So, let's start with the, I believe I was starting with the shirt and pants. To find it. Here it is. So here we go. So what you're going to want to do is grayscale it, and then you're going to want to slide this darkness all the way over. It looks pretty dark, but that's what you want. You want it basically black. Put a B for black after, save, and I'll save it right next to it. And then it's literally the same process for the other 3, so I'm not going to show it. Okay, so now we just have to mess with the scarf. I think I'm just going to leave it red, but if you want to change it white, black, it'd be the same thing. Go up here, grayscale. You can brighten it if you want. You can darken it if you want. You can just change the color completely by brightening it. Going back to editing. Go to adjustments. I will show this again later in even more detail with the eyes, but this is a basic idea of how to switch the colors besides black and white. You'd go down to this called color fill. Click that, and then you just have all these colors to choose from. You're going to want to keep with overlay, and then just mess with the opacity. If you go to normal, it's going to turn it into a flat color, and we don't want that. So make sure it's on overlay, then max it out. It's going to give you the color that you want. But I'm going to leave it at red. So the next part of the skin is the jacket. The jacket can be a little hard because of the way it looks in game. It's kind of shiny, unlike Falco's. But it's not too hard to do if you're just doing one singular color. So we're actually going to make it white, which is very easy. Just grayscale turns it white. If you want to make it brighter, just go higher on the brightness. But if you get too white, it gets kind of hard to tell the textures on it. So we might put it up to 50. Yeah, 50 looks good. And then it's literally the same process with all of these. You usually don't mess with this because this rolled up part of the sleeve looks good with any color usually. We're not going to mess with the zipper, but we will change this to white to match the interior of the coat to the outside. So the next part of the skin are the boots. I'm actually going to leave the boots neutral. I think that'll look the best with the skin. I might go back to switch them later, but usually they look pretty good. The headset and the boots look best basic unless you're really basing a skin around a certain color palette. This one really isn't, but we're just going to leave it neutral for this skin. Alright, next up is the fur. The fur can be a little difficult. I would not recommend trying to make it different colors. It just does not come out very well a lot of the time. It looks kind of weird. Trying to make a cursed skin, go for it. You can make it really cursed, but I would not recommend deviating from darkening it or slightly lightening it and making it black and white. If you go too white, you will lose texture, so I would not recommend that. It does not look good when it loses its texture. It kind of looks like a plastic toy. So just be careful with like how. I'll show you what it will look like. If you let's say you grayscale it and you want to make a white fox, brighten it again, brighten it again. You see you're losing texture every time, and then you just come up to where you get just a flat white, and it just does not look good. So I would not recommend that. But what we're doing is we're just slightly lightening it. So I'll show you what I did. So you're usually in edit or color over here, but this time we're going to go to tools and we're going to go to adjust color. Now we're basically doing what we were already doing in color, just quicker. So this is basically the grayscale that we were doing over there, but it's got it's basically got a paintbrush. We apply that, and then we do brighten. We'll brighten it once, brighten it twice, see if we can get 3. Now we're losing texture, so that's where we stop. Stop at 2. You can kind of fiddle with the strength, but then it gets complicated because you got to match up. Like, oh, I did 2 100s, and then I got to do a 29. So I usually just stick to variables of 100. So you want 200 basically. And then you save it, like everything else, with a W. And then you do that exact same amount with every single one. The nose can be a little more complicated, but it should be fine with this because it's just grayscaling. Alright, now we're moving on to the eyes. So the thing with the eyes is that they're a little more complicated, at least the way that I do them. They might look a little janky in the program, but once they get run in Melee, it'll down res. It'll look fine, just trust me. You'll see at the end when I show off the skin. So what you're going to want to do now is you actually want to go to this cutout setting up here. Luckily this is one of the only parts of the skin you're going to have to do a process like this with, but go to cutout. We're going to go in here. I'm only going to do it with one eye, but the other 3 are the same idea that I'm going to show you here, just with different lines going over different parts of the eye. That's why you can't just do one and paste it on every other one. So what you're going to want to do, go in here, the cutout. You want to do magic eraser, and you're going to just want to click the white. Click the white. You want to get that base white off of there. It's fine if you got a little white around it. We're going to grayscale it anyway. You want to take your brush, and then you're just going to kind of want to get as close as you can to this eye, keeping its shape. There we go. Zoom in to help. And then this is really what you want. Once you get just the pupil by itself, you want to save this cutout. You want to make sure that it goes into your eyes folder. So save it into here as a cutout. And then you want to go back to your editor, and you're going to want to grayscale it. Don't do anything else, grayscale it, and then go to color fill. Now you can just change your eye color to whatever you want. All these colors, you're going to have a color wheel, whatever. I'm going to do red. It matches the Arctic Fox. So to see how much you want to put on it, I'm going to do probably 75. I don't want it too red. Apply. Then you're going to save this. Just cut out red. Copy it to your board. Open this back up. Paste it. And you just want to put it right on top. Hold on. like so, and there you go. Save this as red, and there's your red eye. Easy as that. Now on to the last part, our gloves. I'm also not going to mess with the gloves. It's another one you kind of have to change the boots and the headset to mess with the gloves for it to look good. I'm sure there are some skins you don't have to, but usually you only mess with the gloves when you mess with like the boots and the headset as well. So I'm not going to mess with them on this skin. So now we're going to build the skin. We've got all of the hard work done. Now it's just going to be tedious. So double click this. You want to open it up. Oops. Double click back in. And then here's all your base textures for your vanilla fox. So what you're going to do is right click. You want to import texture. It's going to open this up. And this is a part of shirt and pants. So you want to go to shirt and pants. It's right here. Double click it in. And then it'll pop back up. And then to make it faster, you just want to find all the ones that correlate to the folder that you're doing. So I'm going to do all the shirt and pants. Here's some more. And then the belt. And that should be it for shirt and pants. These are the headset pieces. We're not messing with that. So the next one we come across is the fur one. So let's go find the fur folder. Okay. Okay, now that those are all added in, you're going to want to keep scrolling down, see what you come to next. We come to the boots. This is kind of like the boot section right here, including the scarf, but we didn't actually edit any of those, so we're just going to keep going. And here's the eye. Import this texture, find where it's at, add it right in. Alright, keep scrolling. Here's some fur we've already done, the mouth. Alright, and here's the jacket. So we didn't do this, but we did do these pieces here. So let's find it. Alright, and then we can start adding. And that looks like it's the end of all of our textures. Looks like we've added them all in. So now we go up here to File, Save, and hope that it looks good. Go into the ISO that we used. Should be over neutral fox. So you can tell that my fur I did make too white. As you can see, if you make it too white, it's going to come out looking just flat. So that's a mistake that I made. You might even want to go dark on the skin, I don't know. But besides the fur, this is basically what I wanted to come out as. Okay, so this is more of what you want to have it looking like. As you can see, there are some little orange spots on it. We'll fix that in just a second. That is different from editing the textures. That's actually in that texture wizard. But yeah, so this is basically how I wanted it to come out. That's why you got to be careful with making his fur white, because it can make it come out like looking pretty bad. As you can see, pretty good basic skin, but all that's left to do with it is mess with the highlights. Usually you don't have to, but since we did change this fur, we do have to mess with the highlights. So we're back here in Texture Wizard, and what you're going to want to do is, we're usually on the image side, but to change the highlight, you're going to want to go to Model. So if you look at this, it actually doesn't have any highlights that are going to mess with it. Okay, here we go. So you can see right here, here's one of the brown highlights. You're going to want to click on this, and you're going to want to change it to black, white, whatever you want. I'm going to change it to black because it's mostly dark on this one. And you're going to submit, and it's going to change that highlight. And then do that for every single one that you find that has this brown piece on it. And then once you've changed all of them, just save it like you normally would. And then your highlight should be good to go. Alright, so as you see, we fixed the highlight problem. And that's basically all you need to know to make a basic fox skin. So, like if you want to see more of these videos, I'll probably end up doing the next one with Falco. It's very similar. Another very easy character to do. But until then, I'll catch you around.